I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All 6 of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is another paid request, this time for Scott. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, reactions, re-reviews, randomness, whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Barb Wire. Now, Barb Wire is based on a comic book. Never read the comic book. Apparently, after this film came out, the comic book went kaput, which is pretty damn sad if that's the case. If you're a fan of the comic book, you let me know if this is like the comic or not. The original director of this was a guy named Adam Rifkin, who did a couple films I enjoyed. Detroit Rock City, The Chase with Charlie Sheen. But apparently because the dailies were unsatisfactory, the producers fired him. They got some guy named David Hogan, who didn't direct any movies. He only directed music videos. I think he did like Sheryl Crow music videos and such. This movie is not the worst movie ever, but it's not that good either. Yeah, there's some action in it, and the action at least have a bit of spark superficially with some explosions and being done in the 90s where stuff were done in camera, on set. Pamela Anderson as the lead, the title character. She has some nice tight leather clothes and titties are ready to pop up. And in this day and age where women can't be sexy, every girl has to look like either Justin Bieber or Butch or more muscles than Jean-Claude fucking Van Damme. You know, it's nice to go back to a time where women could look like women, and women could look like sexy women. There's some familiar faces in the cast. There's Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother. There's Temuera Morrison. He would go on to be Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones, the Star Wars films, and then Boba Fett in the, I believe, Mandalorian. He's in the Mandalorian, I believe. Xander Berkeley, who I remember from Candyman, among other films, he's in this flick. Steve Railsback is your main villain. Steve Railsback was in Toby Hooper's Life Force. He was in this movie called Ed Gein. He was in this movie back in the day where he played Charlie Manson. Good actor. Like I said, you have some recognizable people in the cast. You have a pretty decent soundtrack. I like the song Word Up by the band Gun. That's in the opening titles of the film. There's also the song that's in the trailer, Don't Call Me Babe. That's in the movie. Don't mind that song as well. The movie's plot is trying to be like Casablanca. So I thought it was weird. A weird choice. And this is one of those movies that Pamela Anderson as the star does not work at all. She does not have charisma. She does not have presence. She's there because her body and the titties already pop out, and okay, that's nice eye candy. That's pretty much it. Anytime she shoots a gun, it's like she can't, you don't buy it for a second. Like, she barely knows how to hold a gun, let alone fire it. I found it funny that the movie takes place in the year 2017, the future. Pretty much things are gone to shit, and you have this Gestapo-looking group led by Steve Railsback. Lady who's got this DNA that could be the cure to this disease, and the guy helping this lady is Temuera Morrison. They both on the run. Pam Grier. God, I wish it was Pam Grier. Pamela Anderson runs the strip club where she dances for people. It's a strip club that really the production design isn't really all that. I mean, it's a few cages, things of that nature. I've seen lower budget films, Split Second, when Brother Howard would go to certain bars here and there. There's just as much or more art direction and with the sets and everything compared to this, which is a much bigger, studio picture, bigger budget movie. So I don't know, the art direction, production design doesn't really set creativity on fire. There's nothing that makes me go, oh, look, oh, cool. Yeah, nothing at all. And so Pamela Anderson is Barb. Not only she runs a strip club where Udo Kier, who's been in quite a few films, he was in Blade, among others, he works there. Pamela Anderson's character has a brother, Jack Noseworthy, who I remember, he's a guy in Event Horizon that was possessed and was outside in space and got pretty much pulverized inside out, but somehow was alive. They get him back in to the ship. He plays Barb's blind brother, saying lines like, "You look like a woman that's good for significant breeding. Wonder if you would want to do some breeding, that is." There's also a line like, "Drink when you want to remember. Don't drink when you want to forget." Drink when you want to forget this movie? Because it's not the worst movie ever. It's not. I've seen The Amazing Bulk. I've seen Neil Breen movies. I've seen Feeders and Feeders 2 and countless others. But it's just, it needed a different star who had charisma, who had presence, who had, not that spunk, but, the spunk factor, that good to decent actress. And even though this film's rated R, it feels like a tame rated R. It really does. I was rather surprised this was rated R. It's kind of like Judge Dredd, that's rated R, but with a few little bits here and there, it would just be PG-13. Same with this. I would not be surprised if they shot this for a PG-13 and then it became an R rating. I would not be surprised. And it should have gone really full-blown the R. Nudity bound. Okay, Pamela Anderson, no one's looking at you for acting. They'll look at you for your body. Let it out. Don't have bubbles covering everything. Don't, in the beginning, open credits, you're dancing with water around. No. Let them see them titties. Let us see them titties. Want them titties. Let us see them titties, or get the fuck out. Let her have an action scene, titties abound. Maybe even hit someone with her titties, but go over the top with the gore and the violence. It should have gone that route. Like, if Heavy Metal cartoon was live action, should have gone for broke in that direction, and it didn't. So then, it's not a hard R rating. Seems tame. And then people who would watch a PG-13 film, they got canceled out because it's R-rated. Pamela Anderson, again, people are looking into her body, not her acting. And you're not really going to see much of her body because, again, it's still hidden. Just a bit fucking cat tease. The plot is nothing to run home about. The action scenes, If you watch the trailer, the first trailer, which is like a minute and 17, minute and 20 seconds, you see all the action. And it's a well-edited trailer. It's got a song from the movie. I like the song, Don't Call Me Babe, which is Barb's one-liner that she says from time to time. She'll shoot someone, don't call me babe. But you don't buy it from her. Her hair looks like a character of its own. She can barely handle a gun and fire it. You don't buy her as a badass. You don't buy her with charisma. I can maybe see someone enjoying this in a trash movie fashion because of eye candy, sexy Barbie, girl-looking lady, teases here and there. Again, the supporting cast is like Xander Berkeley from Candyman. He's decent as a cop who is working with the bad guys, but he's on Barb's side. Like I said, yeah, Steve Railsback is the villain, saying lines like, I'll rip your heart out of your ass and stuff it back down your throat. But even like the plot, it kind of doesn't know where it wants to go. Like, it's setting up Temuera Morrison and this lady on the run, and then Barb is just doing her mercenary work. Because not only does she own a strip club, she does mercenary work. Like, she rescues this girl near the beginning of the film. That's really not much to run home about. She needs to get this guy for Clint Howard. They bring him to Clint Howard. So she seduces this other guy. I forget the guy's name, but he's the guy. He was in Darkman. He was in Swamp Thing. He was the villain in this film called Don't Answer the Phone. She seduces him, knocks him out, blows up this wall. There's a bunch of bad guys behind it. This where you get a shootout scene. And the shootout scene, I mean, it's not poorly edited like a Taken 2, Taken 3, like that kind of stuff. It's not shaky cam. Because back in the day, they didn't do that stuff, which was for the better. But it's, you've seen from John Woo films to John Wick films, you've seen it done better. And there's a lot of gunshots. There's a lot of like flashing lights. I swear at times the director just adds like a blinking light of a, not a squib, but like the barrel of a gun. You have the light. I swear sometimes the director just fills some stuff in there, which almost blinds my eyes. And again, some of the, like in the finale, there's some action where you get some, practical explosions. I mean, I would say there's about 3 or so action bits. There's that bit there. There's the bit in the finale. If you want to add in the bit at the beginning, I guess that's a little action scene. So I would say a little action scene and then 2 big action scenes. That shootout and then the finale. Again, if you watch the first trailer, they show all the action in the movie. God, I'm trying to remember what, like, Temuera Morrison, he has his past history with Barb, and they do like a flashback, and there's really nothing to the flashback. It's just she's in a helicopter. He's not here. He couldn't make it. We gotta go. And then they fly away in a helicopter. I'm like, this flashback was fucking pointless. It didn't really bring anything to the table. This flashback was not even needed. If you cut it out, it would make no difference. Her in the bathtub with the bubbles, and then she has this past history with Temuera Morrison, but even that doesn't really lead to anywhere. Doesn't lead to them falling back in love and kissing and fucking, nothing. Like I said, it would not have saved the film, but if you went more towards that exploitation, really hard R with the nudity and the gore and blood squibs, that at least would help in this instance. I think that's what kind of film this should have been. But it's not the case. the supporting cast do what they can, but they can't save the film. Again, there's some pretty decent songs on the soundtrack. Pamela Anderson is the worst actor in the movie, and she's the lead. And I'll say before I say it, she has no charisma, she has no presence, she barely looked like she could fire a gun, and she was, maybe look-wise, she seemed like the right choice, but then if you want to go that route, and go, okay, she's not a good actress, but we have her body, use the body more. Cut down her dialogue, amp up her action, amp up her body count, let those assets free, and let the gore flow. Have her do a whole scene with the titties out. Pa, 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 pa. And yeah, be on camp level. Maybe that's what this needed to be. Maybe it needed to go more in a campy level. Maybe it needed to go more in the over-the-top level. Again, I don't know the comic. I don't know how the comic book was done. But apparently no one else does, because, like I said, apparently this killed the comic book after it was released. And once again show that Pamela Anderson is not leading woman material. Whether it be when she did her TV show VIP or this. And I don't even know what else to say. It's just like the production designs, the art designs, the sets, they look basic. If you think of anything, I mean, they look like leftovers from the Super Mario Brothers movie, which is a weird phrase to say, but it's like that alternate dimension Super Mario Brothers, the Bob Hoskins film. They just took random shit from there, because that was '93. They just took random shit, put a little bit here and there. The finale, there's some warehouses. I mean, there's nothing in it that really brings a sense of awe or wonder, or, oh, that looks cool. None of that. Direction-wise, the director, you tell he's from music videos with certain angles that he tries to shoot to spiff up the lack of story, lack of characters, lack of anything else. And it's not wall-to-wall action either, because other than the brief beginning, you have like maybe 2 big action scenes, that's it. Like I said, if you watch the trailer, you've seen all the action. And then the spoiler alert, the big action finale, it's either, okay, she's on a motorcycle shooting things as if she's fucking Chuck Norris from Delta Force, or Temuera Morrison driving the van, they're crashing through stuff, or Temuera Morrison find this guy and kicks him off the train, or Steve Railsback driving a vehicle pinning Pamela Anderson, and then Temuera Morrison gets the car up by the crane, and Pamela Anderson doesn't have a fucking scratch with all this shit going on, and she pretty much climbs up, unhooks it. Steve Railsback is in this construction vehicle, falls down. Nice explosions. Really not much to say about it. Again, maybe the comic book, there's more ingenuity or creativity. I didn't really find much creativity in this. Steve Railsback and his Gestapo will maybe interrogate people with this shit that looks like the Borg from Star Trek. Or like a $5 version of a Borg where they put this shit on her, on people to interrogate them. Again, maybe the bit that Pamela Anderson had the cigarette and it was a dart to knock someone out. She has a dog at her club, her strip club, that will attach themselves on someone's balls and is pretty much her guard. Gets a guy out of the club who's being an asshole. Like I said, maybe if you're bored and you want some trashy fun and you want to look at Pam Anderson for 100 minutes, and there's a couple, again, explosions and shootout here or there, maybe. I mean, I guess it's more interesting than some of the generic shit you did nowadays. That's just the same old, same old. But just Barb Wire, it's not so horrible that it makes me mad, but it's not a good movie either. It's kind of watching those and going, they had a bit of a budget behind this, and it was all for naught. It was all for naught. So I really don't know what else to say. I mean, the fact that Pam Anderson stars in it kind of tells you all you need to hear. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.